Welcome to Burning Bright, a weekly podcast presenting poetry and prose from Passager. Peter Marc Roget. Even though his name is French, that's because his paternal grandfather was French, he was English, born January 18th, 1779, in London. He mainly grew up in Edinburgh, Scotland. Legend has it that he suffered from depression and found that making lists helped him cope with it. He was a physician, but that's not what he's known for today. He started making lists of related words and then came up with a more complex way of grouping and categorizing them. And that eventually led to his book, Roget's Thesaurus, which, although it's been updated and revised many times, is still a major reference work today. To commemorate Roget's birthday, some pieces about language. Stephen Cribari said, "Even as a child, the meaning of words and the music of words drew me inward." Here's Stephen's poem, The Grammar Lesson. The horizon behind recedes, diminishes, vanishes beyond your memory, except you know it was. You feel it was. Its fading seems to lengthen out your past to a vanishing point, behind which you were not. As the horizon ahead, and never so far ahead as you imagined, now looming in stark dimension, draws in nearer, closes on your past, you find yourself talking to yourself in subjunctive metaphor and third-person singular, and not your own third person, but someone else. Someone else. Someone who did not matter. As if a stranger met randomly on a train. As if the person you had meant to be, if only you'd had the time, if only you'd had the time of your life when it was there to have. That hissing in your ear, escaping steam from a log collapsing, whispering to the hearth. Is that someone else who you had meant to be? That stranger you left unmet on the train, whispering that the horizons behind and ahead are closing like a book upon themselves, collapsing your perspective to vanishing points, beyond which you are not and never were. From Passager's 2021 Poetry Contest issue, The Grammar Lesson, Stephen Cribari. It's sort of about language. The Latin phrase ubi sunt is usually translated as something like, "Where are those that went before us?" From Passager's 2011 Poetry Contest issue, here's Carolyn Moore's poem, Ubi Sunt on a Budget. Where are the 9 my stitch once saved in time? These days the needle's eye winks shut at mine. The thread becomes a cloud wisp I can't coax by will or spit through the stubborn slitted hole of my darning need. I squint, a harried mom, seconds before the camera's sole whir, slicking down the child's hair that won't lean to its task. Familiarity? It breeds contempt? Then how can absence make the heart grow fond of anything but solitude? Tell me, please, those adages we plucked from old Aunt Barb like lint from woolen cuffs, where have they gone? And where are our rewards banked and accruing interest for a life of thrift? Just where does hoarded virtue hide? Ubi Sunt on a Budget, Carolyn Moore. Laura D. Weeks said her poem Passing Through Customs, quote, is based on an actual encounter, my first time in Russia as an adult. I had been there as a child, but this time I went as a graduate student, fluent in the mother tongue. These phrases are not foreign. They were my mother's first, my second tongue. Thickly palatable, they still taste of childhood. Is it the form that smells of perfidy? What is the purpose of your visit? To placate Kronos. Have you anything of value to declare? A mouthful of myths my mother fed me. Disconcerted, I confront the few remaining blanks, throw answers piecemeal at them, and in confusion use a 19th century word for wedding ring. My turn to step into the twilight booth. Glassed in on every side, I turned to face the starched young officer, his eyes full of distilled hostility. I know my skin will not escape intact. Laura D. Weeks, Passing Through Customs, from Passenger, Issue 50, the 2010 Poetry Contest issue. Roget's Thesaurus helps us find uncommon words to help us describe our world in more interesting ways. We'll end with a poem that uses common words to describe the narrator in uncommon ways. A gesture is a signal. Keli Osborn. When I was kite, the ground was hard, wide sky blowing terror and laughter, the birds, trees, clouds whipping green ribbons past my corners, around my tail. When I was bowl, chipped lip and empty well, my hunger asked for cold cereal, hot soup, salad mixed with breath and blood. When I was alphabet, my arms crossed impressively, wandering eyes inky black. Intricate stories told themselves, my voice halting in a labyrinth. When I was bullet, I lived inside a pistol, locked into a cabinet at the long end of a hallway, surrounded by wedding faces, high school smiles, toddler curls. After she fell for the last time, I nested in a cardboard box, waiting. I was tobacco-brown gloves worn soft, salted with pleasure and sorrow. When my delicate hands fluttered in air, I was soaring grenade, vessel of words, a woman no one had heard. Keli Osborn's poem, A Gesture is a Signal, from Passenger, Issue 64. To subscribe to or learn more about Passenger and its commitment to writers over 50, go to PassengerBooks.com. You can download Burning Bright from Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and various other podcast apps. Passenger offers a 25% discount on the books and journal issues featured here on Burning Bright. Visit our website to see what's on sale this week. For Kendra, Mary, Christine, Roseanne, and the rest of the Passenger staff, I'm John Shore.